What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today we're here for the January TBR. Now, I will tell you, after the last videos that you saw, I got the flu. My voice is not back up to par. I'm gonna have to edit a lot of coughing and clearing of throats in this video, but much better to end 2025 with the flu than to begin 2026 with the flu, if you know what I mean. So if you didn't watch my last video, there is a new jar here in the mix of my TBR jars, and that is the romance jar. I highly recommend you go watch those videos for kind of how I see my reading year going in 2026. I got rid of the indie self-published jar because I'm just not in the headspace to read fantasy physically, and a lot of those self-published indie books are physical reads, unfortunately, so I'm still not in the headspace to read fantasy physically. But I have been reading romance physically and enjoying my time, so I took recommendations from everywhere. I am still trying to figure out where I fall into my romance journey. So I have books, there's like 450 in here, and there are books from every single trope imaginable because I want to try it all out. Okay, so this ought to be very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 2 books out of each of these jars, and I'm only going to hold myself accountable for reading one of those books. I will call it a win if I just read one book out of each jar. However, I would like to try to get to the second one if at all possible, because my goal this year is to read down my series. It's to read my own TBR, do all the things. So we're going to try to hit the goals. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. And I have culled down these jars. I have thrown away a lot of books that I feel like I'm just not interested in anymore. And I have DNF'd a lot of series. Those videos, I am going to do a series video as it stands right now at the beginning of 2026. Probably in a couple of weeks, so that you can see where I stand with my series and what I got rid of and what I stopped reading and what I DNF'd and all of the things. But these are the books that I'm currently still wanting to read. And some of these fantasy books, I'm going to have to reread the first book because it's been a long time since I have read the first book. But we're going to go ahead and get started. There are some beasts in here and I am terrified, but that's okay. All these books need to be read. Okay, so first book of the new year, out of the series jar, here it is. Okay, this is Rose Hill. This is one of the series by Miss Elsie Silver, and I know that y'all didn't get to join me in my romance journey a lot last year because I stopped making content, but me and Elsie Silver do not necessarily get along that well. I still have Chestnut Springs that I'm in the middle of. I think I have 2 more books in the Chestnut Springs series, and then I have a couple of books in the Rose Hill series, and so book 2 in the Rose Hill series, I don't know which one that is called, but that's the one that I am on. So it'll be that one, or let's see. I'm terrified. Okay, second. Okay. Ooh, this is the Farseer trilogy. So, okay, I read Assassin's Apprentice, and I wasn't the most, how do I put this? I wasn't the most impressed with it. Like, everybody talks about Robin Hobb, and I read Assassin's Apprentice, and it was fun. And then Illumicrate came out with these beautiful editions, and I was like, oh, I have to have them. So I bought them and decided that I will continue on with the series, but I do want to reread Assassin's Apprentice. So I will be, if I do read the Farseer trilogy this month in January, I will reread Assassin's Apprentice. And I don't know if I will continue on, but I will reread Assassin's Apprentice in anticipation of moving on to the second book shortly, because again, the goal is to read my series closer together. So that's what we're going to do. Now, new releases. So these are some books that I'm interested in that are coming out in January 2026. There's not a lot of them. There's a mix of genres, not a lot of fantasy, because I'm just going to be honest with you, reading a book and then not having the next book come out for a whole another year is really cramping my style, because then I have to go and reread the book next year, and so I'm just not in the headspace to do that. So there's a lot of thriller in here. There is some romance in here. Let's hop to it. And I cannot promise you I'm gonna remember what's what. There is some fantasy in here, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Ooh, this is The Future Saints, and I think this is the one by Ashley Winstead. I've read most of the things that Ashley Winstead has come out with, and I'm excited for this one, even though it compared it. I think this is the one that was compared to Daisy Jones and the Six. I didn't get along that well with Daisy Jones and the Six, but I'm willing to try something similar to it. So there we go, The Future Saints. Okay. Alright, here we go. This is the redo list, and I'm not quite sure who this is by. This is a romance story that looked really cute, so I'm also kind of excited. I can see the cover in my mind. I can't remember who this is by. Denise Williams, I think, and I DNF'd one of Denise Williams's books quite early on, but that was before my romance journey began. But anyway, that is the new releases jar. On jar. So this jar is mightily overflowing. I did not make a lot of progress on this jar in the latter half of 2025. That's going to change in 2026. We're going to get this down to a reasonable level. Let's go. Okay. All right. Papers are going to start flying everywhere. Yep. Okay, I have one. Oh, an interesting fantasy middle grade here, which is Keeper of the Lost Cities. I have owned the first book of Keeper of the Lost Cities forever. And it's probably one of the books that I've owned the longest on my TBR. So that's interesting that that comes up. Would love to get it knocked off the list. These are some beefy boys, but I think maybe because it's middle grade, I can fly through them. But still interested in this middle grade story. Super excited. Keeper of the Lost Cities. Let me put all the papers back in the jar. Okay. All right, here is my second one as all the papers come out flying again. Okay. This is The Blighted Stars. I own this one physically. I own Keeper of the Lost Cities physically as well. I own The Blighted Stars physically. This is by Megan O'Keefe. I tried to read her series that started with Velocity Weapon last year. Was it 2025? I don't know. But I really enjoyed the first book, and then again it hit. I couldn't find a recap for the first book when I went to move on to the second book, and so I was completely lost of what was going on in that book, and so I wound up DNFing the series. But I'm super excited for this series because I've heard a lot of great things about it. All the books, they're out. I'm gonna, if I do read this one this month, I'm going to continue on with the series fairly shortly. Okay, let me make sure I have all my papers back in this jar. All right, y'all, it's time to draw out the romance jar. And I can guarantee you 100%, I'm gonna have to look up every single book that I pull. I have no freaking clue most of the books that are in here. There's contemporary romance, there's dark romance, there's male romance, there's female, there's male, there's reverse harem, there's all the things, okay, all the things, and I'm terrified, but okay. And these papers are very nice, new, and crisp as my hand digs down. Okay, I have one. Okay, let's see what this says. This is Long Time Coming. So hold please, let me go see what this is. So I think this is a contemporary romance. This is by S.L. Scott. I'm not sure how I got this book. It was recommended at some point in time. So I put it in the same category. This is Single Dad. So, and I put in the same category that this is Brother's Best Friend or Best Friend's Brother. I don't know. I tend to like that trope, actually. One of my favorite tropes here. This looks to be kind of like a small town romance, maybe, which is not technically my favorite, but okay. Long Time Coming by S.L. Scott. Okay. That one's not bad. That one's not bad. Okay. Number 2, as they all fly out of the jar. Okay. This is Mother Faker. Mother Faker is a series that gets recommended to me all of the time. Let me pull it up so I can tell you more about it, maybe. This is by Brittany Nicole. It's a rom-com, I know. This is a billionaire marriage of convenience. And it's a plus-size single mom who happens to work for him. Perfect. Those are the things that I need to know. I'm excited about my romance. Let me clean up these jars. So in January, I am starting out not terrible. Those are like regular contemporary romances. There's a lot of dark things in this jar. Okay. So getting 2 contemporary romances out of that jar, I think is a win. It's a win. Because I'm kind of terrified of some of the things that are in that jar. Okay. So my big backlist jar is now going to come into play. 2 more books. One. This is Beautiful Ugly, and this is by Alice Feeney. I've read a lot of works by Alice Feeney. Some I have enjoyed, some I have not enjoyed, but looking forward to reading this one and getting back also into mystery and thriller because I haven't been reading much of those either, so I'm excited about this. Boop. Okay, and final book of the January 2026 TBR. This is What Happens in Amsterdam, and that is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. It doesn't get the best reviews, so I may read it, I may not read it. We'll have to see. I tend to like Rachel Lynn Solomon. One of my favorite romances of all time is by her, and that is her YA romance, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. I really enjoyed that one, and so we'll kind of see what happens here. I am excited about the picks that I got, and keep in mind, my TBR is not confined to these picks that I drew. Again, I want to read series continuations, and my goal is to read at least 4 series continuations a month, and I drew 2 here, so maybe I will get to those 2, and maybe I will read a different one, but 4, and to read 3 owned books. So more owned books will be getting read this month. I am looking forward to being back in the YouTube space with everybody and all of y'all, and I could not be more excited. I don't know how much vlogging I'm gonna get done in January. I may take a pause from that for just a second while I get my 2025 year-end content out, which is gonna be coming in January. All of the 2025 year-end content is going to be coming, and then may start vlogging some in February. We'll have to see, but I'm excited about 2026. What are you excited to read in January? Tell me what's on your TBR, and I will catch you guys in the next one.